Season 26, War number 3. This is against D69, an alliance that quite often competes for Masters. And again, this season looks like they're going strong to manage that again. So we've come into this war now, and the officers have given me Quake, Human Torch, and Warlock. Very standard team, as you know. And my paths are Path 2 in Section 1 and Path 7 in Section 2. As you can see, we moved up to Cosmic Ghost Rider in Section 1. I've got no intention of doing Apocalypse tonight, so I just thought to myself, you know what, I'm just going to do this now. I don't need to boost for it. Cosmic Ghost Rider isn't a tough fight whatsoever, especially not with Quake. It's just learning his animations, because some of them are a little bit weird. But apart from that, as you'll see here, it's just a very standard, easy Quake fight. So as you can see here, I'm just picking the boost for the Apocalypse fight that's on the second node of Path 2. I'm going to be boosting up just enough pretty much to cover the whole rest of the war now. The officers agreed that this was the best plan, just to coordinate everybody, so we weren't using a great deal of boost the whole way through. Sadly, even by this point, we were a few deaths down, and it looked like it was going to be a tough war and potentially a loss. So I'm just trying to fast forward all this boost selection for you now. Boosting pretty big just because then the tech boost and the power start one, just because then I can do about 3 fights really with it. So this Apocalypse and this Strike Counter Fury node, it's just about watching your combos, but because the power start one, realistically you just need to try and get to the 1 more bar of power to give Warlock the special 2, and then you can just rinse and repeat. So as you can see, the fight's pretty much coming to an end now. I'm on, what, about 95% health, so still very, very safe in terms of how much HP I've got ready for the next fight. So here we've got this long shot on Encroaching Stun. It's the first time I've ever done it with a White Magneto pre-fight on it. I don't even use Human Torch pre-fights anymore, just because if you boost in, it's just so quick still. With Longshot being a Mystic, he basically gives you your Nova very, very quickly. So there you see, I just drag the combo, make sure that I can throw a special 2 when the timer's about to sit out, and yeah, the fight's done. With how quickly the other fights had just gone, if I got into this fight quickly against the Mega Red, I still would have had my Power Start 1 boost. So I just jumped in there as quick as I could with Warlock. He was always going to be the option for this fight. They placed a Mega Red without willpower. This is a very common thing for this node now in war. So normally, even with Warlock, you're pretty much always going to be taking 1 special 3 to the face. Luckily, with a Mega Red having class disadvantage and not many spores, he didn't really do anything. So yeah, just a nice easy fight for Warlock. So coming up to this Nick Fury now. Now, especially when it was stubborn, this was probably one of the hardest fights on the whole map, just because of the aspect of evolution and kinetic transference, and if he throws a special 1, he's just going to get so much power and attack back. So with Quake, yeah, ideally you don't get hit. Most people don't tend to like Quake in Nick Fury, and there, for the first time in a long while, I ever took like a few hits from him. He seems to have a weird combination sometimes, and I know most people don't like doing it just because he can kind of like whiff an attack and mess up the animation slightly. But even so, with the 1 attack that I took there and the bleed, it's already took me down to 42%. So this now just becomes a bit more of a, okay, I really need to concentrate and just get through this fight safely now. Once he goes into the second phase, he's stun immune, as most people would know, so it's just a little bit more of a different fight. It helps the fact that he degens down to 30%. It means that normally once you get him into the second life, you know the fight's not going to go on as long. Because as you can see already, we're 2 minutes into this one. Look at there, down to 30%, so 3, maybe 4 aftershocks now. Should just finish him off, and then, yeah, we're all good. That'll be the paths done for the war. I don't have any mini bosses today, but I do have the boss. So at this point, thank you to my battle group alliance mates. They cleared everything else pretty quickly and pretty easily. I spoke to the officers and they said, look, don't bother using invulnerability boost. You should be quite confident you've just one-shot the one against ASR, and the war's not really like that close anymore. It's kind of blatantly obvious that we'd lost by this point. So I'll just put on a health boost just to try and make sure to, kind of, if I did make a mistake, that I should still be okay. I don't really like Mojo. He's a very RNG fight. It's all about these prompts. So while you're also doing damage with Human Torch, you have to watch out for the prompts and try not to fill out the prompts that he's giving you. I make a mistake just here. It's coming up in a second. So after this prompt comes up for the Charger Heavy attack, he then does it there, look, and at that point I really need to not be able to actually accomplish his prompts for him. So then he gets dash back, which I can't really do anything about. You have to dash back, or Mojo will dash back. So now he's on 4. He's on use a special attack here, so I'm conscious that he has a special attack, so I try and bait the heavy. Decide to take the heavy to the face just because it changes the prompt, and yeah, the prompt changed to dash backwards. So yeah, that's 5 whatever it is on Mojo's. He instantly puts a degen on you, gains power, goes up to the special 3, and yeah, and now I've messed up and the fight's over at this point. So oh well, look, it's another death in the season. It's actually pretty much only Mojo that ever kills me in war nowadays. I must just, as my alliance mates have just told me after the war, I must just be paying too much attention to the prompts, because when I did it against ASR, it was so much easier and quicker. As I said, sadly, we lost. Congratulations to D69. They're putting up some really good performances this season, so I hope they get Masters.